I think the biggest aha moment was when you looked at my resume and LinkedIn is like, why are you so low key and so low profile? Like why? And I felt like I didn't have an answer. And then I came up with something crappy. And then you really caught me on that. And you're like, really? So you're willing to give up your career and you're willing to like just like be low profile. I think it goes back to you know how to coach somebody by giving the right amount of tough love and by also kicking us. Hi, I'm Lakshmi S. I am a full-time mom and a full-time employee for corporations in the United States. I work for Truist Financial right now, and I manage cybersecurity initiatives for the bank. So, one of the things that I've always done as part of my job career is every year I revamp my resume and then I apply just to see how I'm doing relative to the outside market. And as much as I would like to get recruiter calls and talk to hiring managers, it's always been a challenge, right? I've never been laid off and I've never really, I've always looked for different roles within the same organization. So there was always this slight, I want to say, a panic moment of what if I get laid off and what if I just can't get hired, right? So I've been doing this for the last 10 years of my life. And somehow this year I had this enlightening moment of, well, I've been doing this for a really long time and I haven't necessarily seen the results that I want. And then somehow, I don't know, I guess call it divine manifestation. Your ad just popped up randomly on LinkedIn. And I was like, maybe I should give it a shot. So there are two, three things that really stood out to me. The first one was how you structured the entire problem statement of where we lack confidence. When I say we, I'm speaking for most of the women who are also juggling household plus a full-time day job, right? Where we lack the belief in ourselves to go all in or go aggressive, right? Like the way you structure that problem statement and you honed in on this is not a skill set limitation or a educational qualification limitation. This is purely like a self-belief mindset sort of a limitation, right? And so tackling that and then making it extremely tactical of what you can do, right? In terms of here's your resume, don't look at star, here, take take my SOAR framework, and this is like immediate, right? So I loved that it connected very deeply with me because you were not trying to necessarily sell or pitch, right? As how most of the others do. You directly went in, you identified what is the problem that these masses are stuck with. I have worked with quite a few mentors at work and I've worked with quite a few senior leaders at work, right? So this was very refreshing and eye-opening for me to just have that outside perspective of a coach who was not necessarily tied to my employment. Um, I think there are three things that really stood out to me, or the three things that I find super helpful for me, right? One, when we get into any sort of an interview preparation conversation, it's always data driven. Um, your the way you focus on helping us overcome our limitations or challenges is again very here is the message, here's how you should have positioned yourself, and this is what you should have said. Number two is just using the data and the analytics in the right way. Like, and then number three is which I think is super helpful is it's so easy to overlook what you have not done over a 24-hour period, but you don't see how far you've come when you look at yourself like for a month. I think the biggest aha moment was when you looked at my resume and LinkedIn is like, why are you so low key and so low profile? Like why? And I felt like I didn't have an answer. And then I came up with something crappy. And then you really caught me on that. And you're like, really? So you're willing to give up your career and you're willing to like just like be low profile. I think it goes back to you know how to coach somebody by giving the right amount of tough love and by also kicking us, right? Job search can be a very, very soul sucking thing. And you're doing it in silo, you're doing it all by yourself. You are also surrounded by all sorts of fake news, good news, bad news that shows up on all sorts of media, LinkedIn or wherever, right? So it's really hard to find that plug point to recharge yourself when you're having a, like when your interview went really bad, or like just in general, like life happens, right? So I think the community is awesome. What's even better is having the support system from the um from the additional staff from Pinkcareers, right? So like having those conversations with Elaine, having her anchor in things for us, like, yeah, it's okay. Like this week's progress wasn't as great as last week. Life happens. It's okay. Let's move on, right? I think that's like super help. That's like it's like you have the cake and then you have the cream on the cake. Absolutely. I'm gonna say just come here and do this. There are a lot of people to help you, and nobody's going to judge you, or nobody's going to feel like, oh my God, you don't even know this much, right? Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that we go through. I don't think you're going to deal with any of that. And there's just like unconditional support that's offered by the people who are currently in the same bucket as everyone else is in. So, hands down, just say yes and keep going.